Should I change my shirt?
No, because we're going live like literally right now. It's still saying that it's setting things up.
Are you streaming through my?
It should be both.
Oh, it just said 2 steps forward, coaching is live now.
All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome. Hello, this is Kevin Hunting with 2 Steps Forward Coaching and
Lauren. Should I not tell them what my company is? Like maybe I should make them beg for it. Like at the end, be like, oh my gosh, who was she? No, I'm LBW coaching.
There you go. We are here with the K&L Effect. Hopefully you're joining us from wherever on this planet. This is episode 4, where we are closing out the biggest behemoth of an inner block, which is called a gremlin. And I just want to take note that the word gremlin to me is just really strange. I mean, I understand why it's called a gremlin, but I wish it would be called something else. Like
what?
Like, I don't know, like bad acne or I don't know.
Did you say bad acne?
Like something that just doesn't go away. You know what I'm saying? Like what's something, like the mosquito.
Like a cyst. Like, yes. No, I think well, no, I don't think anybody would take that seriously, but I think bad acne is good.
Right, because it's like something that you're just like, God, would you please, I need for it to clear up and go away. But the word gremlin to me, I just always think, all I can see is that little furry creature.
Yeah, it's a caricature.
Right. And so, well, we're here. We hope you're there and with us. And if you're not, and you see this on the replay, of course, you're going to be blown away because we always share such an abundance of information. And so let's just get it kicked off. So we should
say hi to our people in the UK because they're always like so awesome about reaching out. And my Australian friends from down under, we love when you reach out. Was that no?
That sounded Australian. I think you were getting there with that. Your accent was amazing.
So good to have you all from down under.
If you're tuning in from the land of Oz, if you're tuning in from the land of the Queen, we are here. And of course, we're so excited that if you're joining us, that you're here with us because we love doing this, and we hope you do too. So, a gremlin, in its kind of simplest form, is that inner voice.
Now I'm being rude, but I did stand up because I wanted to. I thought you would have noticed. Did you not notice?
I did. So that is Lauren. Lauren's hair. That's Lauren's hair. You can't tell.
This is me praying. Someone did a picture of me.
So she's completely hidden by her hair. So a gremlin is this inner voice that tells us in one way or another that we're not good enough. So just think about that for a minute because we all have a gremlin or multiple gremlins. Many of us have multiple gremlins. And so what might be some quick examples, Lauren, of like, not a personal one, but just in general, a gremlin statement that someone might make to themselves?
No, I mean, I kind of think that people think they're not smart enough. They really, the gremlin creates a lot of self-doubt. So it's anything in there. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough.
I'm not attractive enough.
I'm not a good person. I'm a bad person. And usually that message comes from someplace in your past. And the gremlin takes a hold of it and remembers it. And then it just reminds you of it. I think actually, I was thinking about this as I was getting ready today. I think that the gremlin actually is what fuels all the other blocks, the interpretations, the assumptions, and the limiting beliefs. You know,
it's kind of like the big block behind all the sub blocks.
Yeah. All the ones
and it also is the one that is the most emotionally charged. The gremlin is the one that is really the most emotionally charged. And so it honestly sometimes is the most challenging to really tackle because it's so ingrained, like Lauren was saying, in your DNA, and just it's embedded in you, like you said, from some deep experience that you may have had during childhood, adolescence, maybe as a young adult. And so it really, you've attached yourself to it in terms of it telling you that one of those statements, right? Ultimately, it's I'm not good enough, but it could be I'm not attractive enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough, like a lot of us people walk around all the time thinking that, I don't deserve, that might be another way to say it. Like, I don't deserve success. So I don't deserve a loving, healthy relationship in my life. And so, as you can imagine, you're sitting there saying this to yourself, well, oh shit, of course your life is going to take on a certain path and a certain journey where those things that this gremlin is basically kind of constantly in your ear. I mean, it's always there.
Shackling you. It's got you
Yes.
tied with handcuffs, and it just makes it so much harder to move forward in your life because everything you experience, you walk it through this filter of, I can't, I'm less than. And it's
I
really
kind of picture like a bad horror film, kind of like Gremlins, but not really Gremlins, where you're kind of you're walking in a dimly lit space and you really can't see clearly where you're going. And that little creature, which, we call it a gremlin. I'm not a big fan. I've already told everybody this, but it's always there, like in the shadow, like in the corner, just waiting to come out when you're faced with whatever, a decision, a major event in your life, an interview. It could be a date. It could show up. It can show up anywhere because it's so omnipresent.
How about when you're starting your new business and you turn the corner and you go to a meeting and you're in there with a whole bunch of people who are doing the same things, and you hear that somebody else is doing this, and you look and you go, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. And then you start comparing yourself.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's a great one.
and then it's, I'm not as good as them. And then literally all of those emotions that the gremlin carries with it, they just slap it on you. And then you start comparing. And comparison is the thief of all joy. It serves you no good. And because that gremlin is giving you such bullshit answers, none of it's really even steeped in truth. Am I allowed to jump ahead and ask you which gremlin you've struggled with most often, or you've struggled with a lot, whichever one?
I think the one that historically that has definitely been omnipresent in my life that I've gotten much better at now. I launched my coaching practice, which takes a lot of chutzpah to do. But one of the biggest things was around like self-doubt. And I can distinctly remember, I've shared this before on one of my previous videos where I talked about my brand story, but I remember in elementary school where a gentleman was berating me, like third grade, mind you, remember this, third graders. I was on recess playing with the girls because I was really good at bars. I was a gymnast when I was growing up. And so because I excelled at that and all the girls played on the bars, I was playing with the girls. And so he came over and just started telling me that I'm a fag, that I'm a sissy. I remember him using the word sissy. And at first I was really confused because I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm just out here on recess, enjoying myself, trying to connect with my fellow ladies, my fellow
my girls on the bar.
They weren't ladies, these are third graders, but you know what, I was with my girls. I was with my girls on recess, and I remember him distinctly just would not stop badgering me to the point that he made me cry. And I remember walking away from recess because I was so embarrassed in front of all these other young children. I left recess, and that stuck with me for eons. It was like the first time where someone made me feel like I wasn't like everyone else, or that I was different. And so that's a story that you begin to tell yourself. And that story is, in a way, basically saying like I wasn't, good enough. And so
You were
that
less than. Did
that
you know
really,
what a sissy was?
what?
Did you know what a sissy was?
I mean, I knew what he was basically saying that I was, in essence, feminine, because everything he was pointing to was he was trying to compare me to girls. And so he kept saying, you're such a girl, and I was kind of like, but I'm a boy, so that doesn't make any sense. Like in my head, right, a third grader, it's kind of hard to reason.
Well, that's why I brought it up. I mean, I was wondering if you just felt the emotional charge of somebody coming up to you, and he could have called you anything, but you feel that in that catabolic negativity, and you're just stopped, and you are less than, and you hold, evidently, I mean, think about what a profound effect that's had on you, and it's understandable. I mean, that makes sense. It's so normal. But you are how old? Remembering that, it sounds like just as clear as it was yesterday.
It's imprint. Those are the kind of experiences that if you're watching, that if you self-reflect right now, you probably can go to that exact spot in your either childhood, adolescence, at any moment, because it stays with you. But what doesn't have to stay with you is the message that you told yourself in that moment afterwards. That is the piece that can become unlocked, if you want to do that work, if you really want to challenge that within you, because it's something that honestly it does hold you back, because then you start to, like you said, it can manifest itself 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years, a lifetime later, in every decision that you're making, because what your gremlin really is saying to you is just stay where you are, stay safe. It's safe here. Do not do that, oh my God, there's no way, you're not good enough.
People are looking at you, and it literally becomes a filter of how you engage the world. Like it just, and the really, what I'm finding in this work is, especially with working with younger people and even adults, is that they're not able to articulate the impact that they've experienced. So they can't even really break it down to be able to say, yeah, that's why that made me feel. And until you say, when was the last time you felt that kind of emotion? And then they go,
and that's the scary ass part of all this, is that it's such an emboldened in your subconscious, like in a way that you walk through life not even realizing it until someone maybe perhaps does challenge, or maybe asks a question like, where did you learn that about yourself, that you weren't good enough? I mean, then you start to, like you said, get the wheels turning. But I'm going to flip the tables now, Lauren, and I would like to hear from you. What is a gremlin that you have that's really challenged you in many ways, that you have done some work to start to unravel and grapple with? And
I don't know if I told you this.
I'm sure you did.
And so it kind of all came to a head at the in our training with Bridget. And I mean, I had a lot of gremlins, but what was interesting was the greatest issue that I was dealing with in my life was, in my transformation and my journey, was kind of being able to show up as me, because I saw myself as not okay. I was very loud. Did you know that I was loud? I had no idea how loud I was until it was pointed out to me, but I knew it was kind of like the same thing as a third grader. I knew I was loud, but I didn't mean to be loud, but I was always loud. I'm just always big, like just everything is just so, everything, my emotions, my humor. And it only was when I decided I wanted to step in as myself, like as I shifted into this professional space, and I was really struggling with authenticity. And like all of a sudden it became, well, I have to be a professional. And clearly I can't be Lauren, because Lauren's not a professional. Lauren is loud. Lauren is big, and that's not okay. So then I met Bridget, and I was like, holy cow, she is. My kids just always thought I was so much. I was so emotionally like just so much, so spiritual. And my kids were like, oh my gosh, can you tone it down just a little? And I knew that it was different. So I decided that different wasn't okay. And so then I met Bridget, and she spoke the way I spoke. And she had beautiful hair. And I just looked at her and I was like, wow, like, what? And I thought she was so amazing, you know? And I made this connection of, I want to step into that space, but I couldn't, because I wasn't allowed to wear big and loud and spiritual and all of that crazy stuff, because that's not okay. That repels people. That repels people. And so then at the end of our weekend, I was like, I don't even know what I said, but
where did you specifically learn that it repels, like that message of it repels people, or that it's not okay?
Probably in childhood. You know, growing up, my overall experience was one of, you're not okay. And if you know my story, I grew up in a household of emotional and physical abuse. So not even, you can't pinpoint one in particular. It's just kind of this overall, you're not okay.
Gotcha.
And so you're
kind of
not
that's
okay.
where the root of it started there. But like you said, you came to this beautiful realization as you were completing your IPEC training that it's almost, I mean, it's interesting because you almost had a role model, Bridget, this woman, right, that you were seeing, that you were like, wait a minute, like, okay, I can now, I'm like, she just seeing her in action actually helped you challenge your gremlin.
100%.
You were able to see, right, like, here's this amazing, intelligent woman. She's an amazing trainer, has vivacious energy that is explosive.
Off the charts. Off the charts. I know, it's really weird how I look up to her, but she was literally a gift from God that allowed me and to step into who I was. And I remember we had a conversation at the end of the weekend, and I think somehow I leaned into it, and I said, I don't know, I'm just so loud and I'm so big and bright. And she was like, girl, let me tell you something. Your light is big and it is beautiful. And if anybody doesn't like your light and if it's too bright for them, then they need to just go ahead and put some sunglasses on, because those are not your people. And I was like,
I love it.
I was like, I felt baptized, if that's a thing for Jewish people. It was like I was instantly kind of, thank you, Bridget.
You know what? It's interesting because without saying it, she was validating. She was validating
100%,
who
100%.
you were, right? She was really, for the first time, allowing to really validate you and all of you, like every aspect of you. And so my next question is, how has that experience and just coming, like you said, building the awareness, etc., for yourself, how would you say that has improved your life?
Well, all of this work that you and I have been talking about over the last 4 weeks, all of those blocks, you know, a lot of them come from the rules that we've accepted from other people. And what you and I have learned is the ability and the skill set to grow awareness.
Oh, wait, like one correction, sorry, one interruption. That we may have learned from someone else, but we have told ourselves that story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it all comes together in learning that. So in learning that, it didn't matter if I was able to reframe all of those limiting beliefs and challenge the rules that other people gave me and say, okay, just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. It didn't matter if I could do all of those things. Because if inside of me, I didn't love me first, and I didn't think I was beautiful first, it wouldn't matter what I was reframing and what I was walking through, because you can't get validation from outside. You have
And
to decide
the
it comes
state
from
is actually,
inside.
I've dealt with, and I don't want to jump onto another gremlin, but that's another thing that I have definitely worked on in my life, or not life, but I mean, it's not like something that I've been doing since I was 5 years old, but I would say recently is this idea of external validation. Remember, we had talked about this last week, and how it's a really dangerous game to play when you, with yourself, when you are sometimes doing things in order to get external validation. If that is your motive and intention, 9 times out of 10, you will be consistently let down, because it's coming from, like you said, you. It's more about you filling yourself up and doing what you know that you need to do for yourself, because it brings you joy. It brings you calmness, confidence, whatever it may be. That, like you said, comes from within. And so I just wanted to react there, just because it's very much normal as humans sometimes to seek external validation from people, to hear someone tell you, my God, you are the best thing since sliced bread, or you are better than, and it's nice to hear that. Don't get me wrong. It's a really beautiful thing when someone gives you a compliment. And you should, like, I'm always gracious
You're beautiful.
and thankful when someone does that. But I think, like you said, the real magic happens when you're able to know that internally.
100%. And I believe that it's, like you said, it's so normal to walk around with that less than feeling, to compare and to have those gremlins.
Imagine for a second if humanity, I'm just thinking like big because it's my thing, like in that sense, but like just think if humanity was able to be able to not have something, all these internal stories that are keeping you in a place of just, honestly, sometimes the status quo. You're kind of, imagine how much power, and not power money. I mean, it could be related to money, depending
Energy power.
Energy.
How much energy power you could
be
embrace
unleashed
and
on the
use
world
to live your life.
Yes. I mean, right there, to me, that's the essence of the beauty of what Lauren and I both do for our day-to-day jobs, is helping people unleash their power and tap into their personal power. That's my new motto. Embrace your personal power.
I can tell you, it's hard. It's, and I know, just like Dorothy, I had the power in me the whole time. But because I created that awareness and I started challenging, I was on a journey. I said, I didn't want to feel blocked. I didn't want to feel blocked. I wanted to know what life looked like. I wanted to understand my passion, my power, who I was. But there were so many layers of what life had laid on top of me that was heavier than my intention. And it kept me stuck. And so until you start peeling those pieces away, you can't get at who you are. So
I think I nod all the time while you talk. Do I nod? Like, I swear to God, I think I nod. I'm like, in like 100 times while you're talking. I probably look like one of those chickens that's like, remember those chickens that the head would dip down and then come up?
Yeah, it was a toy.
Yeah, thank you. That, I think I look like one of those. Because I keep going like this. Sorry, I just.
Are you a-hunting because you agree, or are you a-hunting?
No, it's my nonverbal validation that I get you, girl. Like that, I get what you're saying, and
yes.
So
we're talking the same language.
But I think I just
go ahead.
I think I just realized in this moment that I do it I do it a lot. I'm like, I really do it a lot. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got sidetracked by my own pecking, my Zoom pecking, as I like to call it. So Lauren, we have about a couple of more minutes left.
No, we don't. Who gave us that rule? Who gave us that rule? Because I am enjoying this conversation, because I actually do want to share something about the gremlin.
Oh, okay. I was gonna jump to, hey, so let's talk about how do we address I mean, the time flies when you're having fun. So but yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, we didn't even get into strategies.
That's what I was gonna ask you is, Hey, Lauren, so what would be one way to address a gremlin? If you were out there, you're watching this right now, you're on the replay and you're watching this and you're like, damn, I've got a really big one that's right here telling me I'm not good enough. What would be something that that person could do in order to slowly start to address that deep-seated gremlin they may have?
And the gremlin could give you other messages. It doesn't have to be, I'm not good enough. It can be, don't be scared, stay small, whatever you're not doing in life. And you're like, we haven't gotten to your why you can't, why you're not, why you're afraid.
Your gremlin is scared shitless of the opposite of I can.
Right.
That's what it's scared of.
Just stops you.
Yes.
So we were taught to externalize the gremlin, right? So and make it something else, give it a life.
Give it a name.
Give it a name. But what I've done, I think I've told you this before, was I saw my gremlin as little me. I believe that the gremlin is little you stuck in time, having carried every single experience, every emotion that you've ever had in any kind of sad, scary, mean experience, and it's just stuck there. It's just stuck. And so it just remembers all those experiences, and it's just going to keep you small and safe. So I see it as little me, little Lauren. And my goal is to give it new messages. Say, oh, when it rears its ugly head, oh, baby, oh, we're not there anymore. I got this now. My goal is to love it, because I used to come at it with, no, that's not how it is. But now I kind of want to, I don't believe in force. I believe in love. And my goal is to reintegrate my gremlin back into myself and to close the gap on the power that it has over me through affirming it, but giving the gremlin a new way to look at things. So that's what I kind of work with people on.
One of the ways that I have dealt with it within myself, or it's similar to you, is you picture that younger, like if you can, it's kind of called like holographic thinking, which I know sounds interesting to maybe if you hear this, but think of yourself and see yourself outside of yourself as that like 3-year-old sitting next to you or in front of you or seated with you or whatever age it was when you learned this gremlin, this message that you about yourself. And just like you said, have a conversation and talk to it, express what that gremlin has meant to you, like you actually share with me in a loving, caring way of, I really appreciate, you taking care of me or looking out for me, but you know what, I've got this, like, I'm ready to make that next move forward. And so you don't need to be scared. You don't need to there is no I can't, it's I can. And so, like you said, it's almost like you are diminishing its energy. That's really what you're doing. You're diminishing its energy, which is more of a negative type of energy that's holding you there so that you can allow that building up type of energy, that really bright energy, start to fill you up. And do what it is that you want to do, or be who you want to be, or accomplish what you want to accomplish. And so it's, if you are interested, this is an interesting topic. So if you're out there and you're on the replay or you're seeing this and you have gremlins and you're interested in learning more, by all means, reach out to either one of us. Just put your name in the comments, or you can private message us. You can remain anonymous if you'd like to. Totally get that, because sometimes these are some really powerful, scary messages that we have picked up. It's like I see you have all this stuff that you carry with you in your life on your back, like all these experiences that you're just kind of dragging around. And
we do. We have our history. Everything we've ever experienced is just with us.
Lighten that load a little bit. Imagine how much freer, nimble, quicker, calmer, maybe wiser, maybe more joy you would be able to experience if you were able to unload a few of those,
Imagine the clarity you could have if you could challenge some of those messages and see the truth, the truth that serves you and allows you to step through that fear. Because I think also that gremlin is just afraid. It's just completely afraid. And any of those messages are steeped in fear of the other side. And there's nothing on the other side. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can stay small.
The only thing that's going to happen is that you will have moved. I mean, I know this, it would be a huge accomplishment to do whatever it is that it's holding you back. But in reality, what happens is you literally are just, you're now moving into a new space. You literally have now moved into a new space that you can now maneuver from. There's whatever meaning you want to attach to it is what you attach to it. But it doesn't mean, I know it sounds so philosophical because it is, it doesn't really mean anything other than the meaning you give it. And so just by stepping through it, you literally are just stepping into, I think, a bigger space to play in. You are stepping into a space of possibility. And damn, that sounds wonderful. It sounds wonderful to me. So anyway, we're here.
You're shaking my head, brother. That's right, because I agree with you, my bro.
I have loved this discussion today. I'm really digging it. It's for all those, digging people out there. And again, please, on the replay or whatever, if you're watching this, please reach out to us if you have any questions. And you can always find me at 2 Steps Forward Coaching. And you can find Lauren.
LBW Coaching. I don't know why I thought you were going to say that. LBW Coaching. You can like my page and get in. Wait! God, I have like a squirrel thing today.
And also, one other thing I wanted to put out there, sorry, if you're on the replay, we would love people to comment and give us ideas. Like the K&L the K&L Effect will continue into August. And of course, we're going to have a whole new set of themes that we'll be tackling. But if you have an idea, a suggestion, something that, even questions, if you want to submit questions to us, we'd be more than happy to start bringing those into the fold and starting to bring those to life, which, you know what, maybe next week we will. I know that a few of you have written us and we've really tried to tackle those topics. But we'll be tackling more of those questions as we continue forward. So look out every Wednesday, 12 noon, the K&L Effect.
Wait.
Yep.
Aren't you having a challenge coming up soon?
Oh, why, thank you. You know what, Lauren? Damn, you're good. So I do have a 10-day challenge that's coming up in the month of August. And so if you are a LGBTQ+ professional and you want to get some clarity and courage to make your big audacious move, however audacious it is, it could be updating your LinkedIn profile and making your profile public, or literally going for a new job at a new company. This is the program, the challenge for you. You're going to love it. It's going to speak to you and you are going to get so much out of it. So again, ping me, private message me if you're interested, because you never know.
You know.
And Lauren, I think you have a challenge coming up as well.
I do, but I'm having a hard time keeping it down to 10 days. I got up to 12 days and I was like, okay, but I might have to go to 14 days because I have so much I want to share. But mine is not the new you, the everything you, 12-day challenge for women to channel in, hone in, rekindle, re-energize, remotivate everything of who they are. Get back to who they are for themselves, not as the mom, not as the worker, not as the wife, not as the volunteer. We forget that fine, beautiful inner voice that gets muffled and drained. So what I want to do is go back to refueling women, exploring values, energy, joy, the things that motivate us, what our real passions are, looking at the future and setting some new goals for ourselves that we can take baby steps towards. So it's going to be a really exciting week to kind of reboot.
We'll be on the lookout because we will be communicating more when registration starts to open for each of those challenges that you just heard. You'll be getting more information, and certainly we'll be sharing more as we continue with the K&L Effect. So look forward to seeing you guys next week and have an amazing, amazing week.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye.